What's up, you guys? My name is Aubrey. This is my channel, and this week has been an incredibly eventful week just in general. We have seen highs and lows in the stock market. We've seen a lot of news with the PPP. We had a major Senate hearing yesterday between the Committee of Entrepreneurship and Small Business and Steve Mnuchin and Jovita Carranza, and between all of those news events, there has been a lot of things that you should know and you should keep in mind and you should be aware of. So with today's video, I wanted to create a quick recap video giving you guys just the headlines and taking out all of the fluff and just letting y'all know what you need to know and what this means for you and your stimulus money. But before we get started, I wanted to let y'all know that next week I'm going to be doing a frequently asked questions segment regarding stimulus packages. So I am still seeing a lot of questions in every single one of my videos talking about questions regarding the EIDL program, questions regarding the PPP, taxation, forgiveness, appeals, and all of that stuff. And so if you are somebody that has questions regarding stimulus money, whether it's the PPP, the EIDL program, the loan, the advance, whatever the case is, then make sure to leave a comment down below and I will respond to every single one of those comments, and I will also compile a list of the frequently asked questions and address them in a video on Monday or Wednesday of next week. And so make sure that if you have questions to comment below. So let's first talk about the PPP program. So this week, the PPP flexibility bill was passed, but basically what this flexibility bill does is it adds flexibility to the PPP to make it easier for businesses to apply for forgiveness for the PPP. So instead of having it be 75% payroll, it is now 60% payroll. Instead of having the time frame be 8 weeks, it is now 24 weeks. And there are a number of different adjustments that are made through this bill to the PPP to allow flexibility when it comes to forgiveness of the loan. So if you are a recipient of the PPP, then this is definitely good news for you. It means that you will have an easier time of receiving forgiveness of your loan. So next, let's talk about the SBA and the hearing that was held this past week in the Senate regarding the EIDL program and the PPP. So the Committee of Small Business and Entrepreneurship held a hearing, and the two witnesses were Steve Mnuchin, who's the Secretary of Treasury, and Jovita Carranza, who is one of the heads or the administrators of the SBA. And during this hearing, there was a lot of things that were discussed, but there were kind of a couple of points that I felt like stood out over the rest. First, regarding the PPP, during this hearing, it was kind of agreed upon that the PPP, for the most part, has been a successful program. There is a lot of credit to the PPP for the fact that unemployment is only at 13% versus the 18% that was expected, and for the most part, there wasn't a whole lot of criticism with the PPP discussed during this hearing. On the other hand, the EIDL or the EIDL program was almost the exact opposite, and the EIDL program received a lot of criticism during this hearing. There was a lot of criticism to the fact that EIDL is only accepting agricultural applications right now, the slow time frames, the bad communication, and the caps that were set on both the advance and the loan. And really, kind of in my opinion, the two things that stood out regarding the EIDL was that Jovita Carranza stated that by the end of next week, all EIDL applications would have been addressed. So if you are somebody that has not heard word on your EIDL application and you haven't gotten any sort of status update, you should be able to receive a status update by either the end of next week or the week after that. The other thing that I thought was incredibly important from this hearing was that Jovita Carranza stated that the SBA is starting to prepare themselves to readdress applications and to kind of open themselves back up to more applicants. Now, it is unclear on whether or not they are going to be opening the portal for brand new applicants or if they are just going to be addressing applicants that came in later in the process and that are already in the pipeline. But regardless, it means that people who have not been considered will at least begin the process of being considered. She also stated in the same statement that they are also going to be aggressively addressing letters of reconsiderations and appeals. And so if you are somebody who was denied the EIDL loan, or if you're somebody who did not get as much money as you really need through the EIDL program and you're wanting to request more funds, this is your chance. And I would highly encourage you to get in that letter of reconsideration and get in the request for more funds within the next week or so, because once they get caught up on the outstanding EIDL applications, they will start addressing the reconsiderations and the appeals, and that is going to be your chance to get your funds. Now, the Senate hearing wasn't some breakthrough event that we were all hoping for. They didn't really even discuss the $10,000 cash advance that we were all kind of hoping that they would discuss. And in my opinion, I do not think that we will get that flat rate $10,000 cash advance that was promised in the CARES Act. I don't personally see the rules changing from the current $1,000 per employee up to $10,000 to a flat rate $10,000 advance. It wasn't discussed really at all during the hearing, and I think that at the end of the day, there just simply aren't enough funds and aren't enough resources to give this to every business that applied for the grant. And so do I think it is impossible for us to get the $10,000 cash advance? No, I mean, I definitely don't think it's impossible. I think that there is a very slim chance, but if you are somebody who is like waiting eagerly for that $10,000 cash advance, I certainly would not hold your breath, because I think the chances of us getting it are extremely small. And lastly, let's talk about the stock market. So I had created a video on Wednesday talking about how the stock market was rallying at incredibly high highs, and that at the time my portfolio went from 14,000 to 21,000 in just a couple of days. And as I record this video now, my portfolio has now gone from 14,000 to 21,000 to 15,000 in a matter of less than a week. And in fact, as I'm recording this video now, virtually every single stock that I follow on my watch list is down significantly. Now, this is a great time for people to invest and for people to start adding positions into the market. For me personally, I'm not concerned about it in the slightest. I think that the road to recovery is going to be rocky, and we are going to be seeing some incredibly strong days followed by some incredibly weak days. And that is exactly what we're experiencing today. It's been a weak last few days in the market, but that is not unexpected, and it's something that I was totally prepared for. But that just means that if you're somebody who has been waiting to get into the market and you've been waiting to make some investments of your own, now is probably your chance, and now is probably a good time to do that. Because again, there has been incredibly weak days followed by some incredibly strong days, and it's always better to be in the market than to be outside of the market and to miss your chance. I will be curious to see how the next few weeks play out and how the kind of rumor of a second wave starts to come to fruition, if it comes to fruition, and how that affects the stock market, because that is certainly what is having an effect on the market today. In fact, I was reading a CNBC article this morning stating that it is the retail stocks, it's the airline stocks, it's the travel and consumer related stocks that are getting hit the hardest right now, and that is kind of in response to the fact that it looks like there is maybe going to be a second wave coming. I am not entirely sure there, but I definitely am interested in seeing how it plays out over the next few days and over the next few weeks. So you guys, like always, I appreciate you checking out the video. I have some more in-depth videos discussing all of the points that I talked about in this video today. So if you're interested in learning about the Senate hearing, the stock market, or the PPP flexibility in more detail, I will include those respective links down below. But in the meantime, make sure to comment those frequently asked questions so that I can address them in my video next week. And while you're at it, make sure to hit that like button, that subscribe button, that notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.